Christian Craig's win this past Saturday at H1 shouldn't have been that surprising. It's his second of his career, his first one coming 2016 Glendale, and for some reason, he gets a lot of hate, and I think it comes from him being 29 years old in the 250 class. I feel like most of these haters maybe just don't know his full story, and if they did, then maybe they wouldn't be haters anymore. I feel like most of you probably know this, but if you don't, I'll give just a quick little rundown of what Christian's had to go through in his career. So he went pro in 2009, and then in 2010, getting ready for the Supercross season, he crashed really bad. I think he said his bike just cut off on the face of a jump or something like that. Went into the ground, butt first, broke his back really, really bad. Had no feeling in his legs for the whole time he was at the track. Didn't start regaining anything until he was in the ambulance. Went through a super gnarly surgery. I think he said it was like 12 hours. He has a super gnarly scar on his back now and pretty much had to relearn how to walk again. That in itself is enough where I feel if anybody is a hater, they shouldn't be, just because of that right there, that he was able to come back from that. But he came back 2011. Pretty sure he was on a 450 on Troy Lee Honda. Had a few good races and then started to just be plagued with more injuries from then till 2013. And in 2013, after only being pro for 4 or 5 years, something like that, announced his retirement. And he started to work for his soon-to-be father-in-law's construction company. During that time, he actually was still a replacement rider for Geico Honda whenever they needed it. And then in 2016, he actually came back full-time as a Geico Honda rider. And then from there, he was doing good, had some good results. But I feel like something else that added to his story was when he had to deal with FIM and WADA. So I think in 2018 Daytona, they said that he tested positive for a banned substance, a trace amount of something called heptaminol, something like that. They didn't contact him until sometime in 2019, and they said that he would have a 2-year suspension, which would put him not racing until March of 2020, I think. And then he did something that seems no athlete is capable of doing, and he appealed his decision and actually won it. I've never heard of an athlete winning their appeal, which is pretty dang cool. So he was able to race in 2020 in January. And then 2020, I feel like, was his pretty, not really breakout year, but kind of a breakout year. In Supercross, he would have really good qualifying in heats, but then he would struggle in the mains. That's nothing new. Even he himself has said it. And then in outdoors, I feel like that's kind of where he really made a breakthrough. So if you're watching, he got the opportunity to ride Roxon's 450 while Roxon was trying to figure out all of his health stuff. I think he looked insanely good. So before I get into him riding a 450 outdoors, I gotta kind of put it into context of why I think this was good for him. I've heard a lot of rumors, and it could be true, that the Geico Honda bikes were underpowered. If you watch Jeremy Martin, it sure seemed like it. He would ride that thing so hard, and it looked like he was going so fast, but he couldn't hang with Ferrandis sometimes on that Yamaha. So I feel like maybe the Honda was underpowered compared to those Star Racing Yamahas, and maybe that was part of Craig's issue, was the bike just didn't have enough power for him. Craig he's a big dude. I think he's probably my size. He could be even bigger. I'm 6'1", like 165. I feel like he could be even bigger than that. And for somebody that size on a 250, you're going to need a bike that has some power. Okay, so the 2020 summer, last summer, him on a 450, when I was watching him, he was kind of blowing my mind. Every time he would come around, I couldn't even hear his bike. He would be in a higher gear than everybody, just lugging it around, looking like he was barely even trying, and yet would be in a podium position, going super fast, riding like a European. That showed me that he definitely knows how to ride a bike that has a lot of power. Any 450, it doesn't matter if it's stock, factory, whatever, they have a lot of power. And if you don't ride the bike correctly, it can be pretty dang hard to ride. With Christian doing as well as he did, he showed that he knows how to ride a bike with a lot of power. Okay, so a 250, obviously you don't ride the same as a 450. However, the same still applies. The more power that a bike has, the harder it can be to ride, unless you know how to use that power. And Christian obviously knows how to use a lot of power. So getting off of the Geico Honda and going on to arguably the fastest bike on the line in the 250 class, I think that's good for him. I do. I mean, that's going to be good for anybody, is to get on the fastest bike, but unless you know how to use that power, it's not going to work. And I think that Christian knows how to use that power. But it's not just the bike why his win this past Saturday at H1 shouldn't have been surprising. There's a lot of other factors that go into it. So with him going to Star Yamaha, he's now working with Garrett Swanapool as a trainer. And Swanapool kind of seems to be turning into the new Alden Baker. Both South African, both super gnarly dudes. But it seems now if somebody starts to work with Swanapool, their game, they start to get better. What am I trying to say? It seems like when people start working with Swanapool, they start to get that extra 1% needed. Isn't that crazy? They just need 1%, maybe 2%. If you got a 50-second lap time at a Supercross race, 1% is an extra half second a lap. 2% is an extra second a lap. That's all they need. 1 to 2% better. 1 to 2% better, and I could probably qualify for a national, like, no problem. And look at Stewart. Started training with Swanapool, and now he can last an entire main. He got that extra 1%. So the bike and Swanapool, two factors that I think are very, very important. And then I think just the team overall. That team has got it figured out. They're kind of the new pro circuit in my eyes. Say 5, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, pro circuit was the team. And it seemed like if Mitch got a guy that was not mediocre, but he just wasn't quite championship level, he could turn him into that champion. He could give him the extra 1 or 2%. And pro circuit's kind of having a hard time now. I don't know if they're in that position anymore to make guys into champions. I guess we'll find out with Joe Shimoda. I think that is going to be a real good view on if pro circuit can do that anymore. But Star Racing is now that team. Seems if somebody goes on to Star, they get that extra 1 or 2%. McElrath was a dude that was just kind of, he was close. He was championship kind of worthy, but he was just a little low. Got on Star, and he became a championship contender. Didn't win it, but he was still a contender. And now Craig kind of seems like he was that guy. He was right on the cusp of being able to compete for a championship, to have the speed, but he just wasn't quite there, and now he does. I don't know if that's Will Hahn. I don't know if that's Swanapool. If it's the whole team, probably. But they're the best 250 team by far, and I'm curious what they can do with their 450 program. It's way too early to tell, but I'm curious to see. Now, those three things, I think, are the key to Christian being a race winner, championship contender now. The bike, Swanapool, and just the team in general. It can still be surprising that he won, even knowing all those things. So it's one thing that made it not surprising to me. This is the reason why I chose him as the champion for this year. I think this is the reason why I think he's going to win the championship. And it was one video. And that video came out a week ago, and it's the Malcolm Stewart GoPro video of Star Racing's scrimmage, I guess you could say. If you haven't watched it, you should go watch it because it's pretty cool. And I don't know if you noticed, I didn't notice it until I rewatched it, that the layout of that test track is the same layout as H1. Maybe that had something to do with it. I don't know. But in this video, they're doing a scrimmage. They're doing a cat and mouse drill is what I used to call it as a kid when I used to do it with my friends. So if you haven't done this drill before, you should do it. It's a really good drill. It's going to make you and your friends faster 100%. Figure out who's fastest, who's slowest, who's in between in your group of riders. If you need to do lap times, do it. Once you figure that out, the slowest is going to go first, then the second slowest, third, blah, 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 until the fastest at the end. And the whole goal is to try to pass and not get passed. Pretty simple. So that's what Star did. And they started out, it was Nate Thrasher, then Fry, then Justin Cooper, and then I would have thought that they would have the 450 dudes in the back. That's what you would think. The 450 guys are going to be the fastest. So Plessinger and Stewart in the back. However, after Cooper was Plessinger. And after Plessinger was Craig. And that means that Craig is faster than Plessinger. And that one thing right there, that Craig is faster than Plessinger on a 450, Craig on a 250. I don't know what it was, but as soon as I saw that, I was like, yep, Craig's going to be gnarly. Craig's going to be a championship contender. He's going to be faster than he was last year. And that is why his win at H1 wasn't surprising to me. And I could see him winning every single race. I don't want to jinx him. Knock on wood. Don't worry. This is real wood. This is a butcher block. It's not some cheap veneer stuff. Don't worry. This is real wood. Yeah, that was my reasoning for why it wasn't surprising, to me at least, why he won H1. Was it surprising to you, or were you expecting it? So, yeah, if he pulls it off this year, he really deserves it after all the crap that he's been through in his career. He deserves this win, and he definitely does not deserve all the hate that he gets from the media, from fans, everybody. I like Christian. I think he's a cool dude. Seems like a cool dude. Never really met him. I grew up, he's a little bit older than me. He's like 2.5 years older than me. So I grew up racing, watching him a lot. But I don't think I ever actually raced with him. But he's got a YouTube channel too. It's really cool. It's just behind the scenes vlog type stuff of him at the races. And I think you should support everybody who does those type of videos. Like me. I'm just kidding. I do think that you should support him though. Support riders. I think YouTube is the easiest way to support the riders. Views equal money. Okay, that was really weird. I don't know why I said that. Go watch his videos. They're really cool. And yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow. I will be going live during the race. I'll probably be on 15, 20 minutes before. So if you want to come hang out, everybody's more than welcome. Just remember, I will not actually have the race on stream, or else it will get taken down. So it'll just be me watching it at the same time as you. We can hang out. It'll be fun. Come join. I'm excited. I've never done anything like this. So, yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow. And I hope you just have a good, grand old day.